If you really want the new life that a resolution is supposed to bring you, then you're probably going to have some new habits. Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can actually stick to that New Year's resolution plan that you've made for yourself. So if you've ever given up on a New Year's resolution before, then this video is for you. Can I tell you a secret? Up until a few years ago, the only New Year's resolution that I ever kept was the one about never making another New Year's resolution. I had given up on them a long time ago, and it was because I could never stick to them. They never worked. And I'm not alone. Most people give up on their resolutions by Valentine's Day. That's just 6 weeks. Most big goals are not going to be achieved in 6 weeks. However, 6 weeks is 42 days, which is really close to the 66 days that is the average that it takes for a habit to stick. And if you really want the new life that a resolution is supposed to bring you, then you're probably going to have some new habits. So if you can really dig in and focus on those resolutions in those 6 weeks leading up to Valentine's Day, you won't be one of the ones giving up. You'll be going strong. And by then, things will actually be getting easier because you will be well on your way to turning those actions that get you to your goals into habits. The first tip to help you keep your New Year's resolution is to make it intense. One of the major benefits that comes from starting to work on a new goal at New Year's is the incredible power that comes from a fresh start. Even if going into 2021 won't make all of the weirdness that was 2020 magically disappear, it's still a fresh start to look forward to. So use that amazing energy to really immerse yourself in your goal. Think of it like a boot camp or a jump start for yourself. Really dig in and spend a lot of time and energy really focusing on your goal. The only caveat that I give to this is to not force yourself to work on your goal if you're starting to feel burned out. You might want to look for another way that you can approach your goal than what you've been doing. For example, if your goal is to exercise more, it's not realistic for you to go spend hours in the gym if you've spent the last decade on the couch. You'll either end up injuring yourself or you'll end up so sore you won't want to do anything for the next day or even the next week. But there are other ways that you can immerse yourself in your exercise goal that aren't necessarily exercising. You could learn about different exercises, or you could do some stretching or some foam rolling. These things won't burn you out the way that just exercising for hours and hours would, but they will help you stay focused on your goal. So do dive in and get a little obsessed about your goal. Just don't feel like you can't take a step back if you're starting to get overwhelmed or burned out. The second tip is to make time for your goal. It's so easy at this time of the year to get super excited and make all these plans and goals for what you're going to do. But if you don't actually carve out time on your calendar to do them, none of it's ever going to happen. If you've already got a full plate, but your resolution is to do more charity work, but you don't actually make time for that on your calendar, you're basically just making a wish. The great news is that the beginning of a new year is the perfect time for you to examine your calendar and see what things are working for you and what aren't serving you anymore. So take a moment and list out all of the things that you do on a regular basis and decide whether those things are worth your time and energy anymore. Then when you find activities that are no longer serving you, you can cut those out of your calendar and replace them with the activities that will get you to your resolution. My third tip is to make whatever it is you're doing fun. We have been told over and over again that if we just delay gratification for a little bit, it will be repaid. Like the frequently challenged marshmallow test. This test gave kids one marshmallow and told them that if they waited 15 minutes and didn't eat it, then at the end of the 15 minutes, they would get 2. And the study tried to say that the kids that waited the 15 minutes and got 2 were then more successful later in life. Many people have overturned these findings. However, we still kind of attach ourselves to this concept that if we delay gratification, then we'll be repaid later. Now, this is true in some cases like saving money versus spending money, but it's not always true. So if we look at an exercise example, if you were to pick something that you straight up hate just because someone else told you that it ought to work for you, how long are you really going to stick with that? In fact, studies show that people that enjoy their workouts spend more minutes exercising and do it more times per week than people that don't. I mean, that makes sense, right? We're always more willing to do something that we want to do rather than something we feel like we have to do. So when you're picking activities to do around your resolution, make sure you actually like them. Pick exercises that you like and food that you enjoy, and focus on subjects that you're interested in. Don't just do something because someone else told you that you ought to do it. This next tip ties into the last one, because as much as I would like to say that you will always be able to find activities that make you happy, let's be realistic here. Not everything that you need to do to get you to your goal is always going to be enjoyable. No matter what I do, I am never going to enjoy doing the dishes, even if the results make me happy. In order to help get you through these times when you have to do something that's maybe not that fun, tie a pleasurable activity to the one that you don't necessarily enjoy. If you love to binge watch a certain show, then save that for when you have to do that treadmill run that you absolutely hate. Or play mindless vlogs on YouTube while you're doing the dishes. Or blast your favorite podcast or K-pop songs while you're cleaning the house. Just make sure that you reserve this guilty pleasure to only do while you're doing the activity that you don't like. The point is to motivate yourself to do the not so fun thing so that you can do the other fun thing that you enjoy at the same time. Now, the next tip is to be tough on yourself, but also cut yourself some slack. There was a study done with 3 groups, and they each had a particular goal to reach. The first group had an easy goal. The second group had a really tough goal, and the third group had the really tough goal, but were told that they could take off a few days that made it equivalent to the easy group. Strangely enough, this last group was the one that was the most successful. So for example, if you told yourself that you had to spend 7 days a week studying the new language that you were working on, you were likely to get frustrated and burned out. Plus, when you inevitably did skip a day, you'd probably beat yourself up and possibly even quit. And if you've ever done this before, then you might want to check out this video about perfectionism. However, if you were to say that the plan was to do 7 days a week, but that it would be okay if you missed up to 2 days, you would be more likely to be successful. In fact, you would be more likely to hit 5 days a week than you would if your original plan had been to just hit 5 days a week. Our brains are weird. The next tip is to be flexible. Have you ever set out to accomplish a goal and then accomplished something else instead? Possibly even more wonderful than you had originally planned. This happens a lot in the world of science and inventions. For example, did you know that Post-it notes were created when they attempted to make a stronger glue? Play-Doh was actually invented trying to make a cleaner for wallpaper, and even good old YouTube was originally conceived as a dating service. Approaching your goals with more flexibility and curiosity gives you the freedom to follow your interests and still be and feel more successful. Maybe you start working out thinking that you want to run a marathon, but then you find that you actually really enjoy the yoga that you've been doing as cross training, but you don't really like the running at all. There's no point in obsessively following that running goal just because you wrote it down in January. So spend more time doing the yoga and less time running, or quit the running altogether. Either way, you'll be healthier than you would if you had never started working out. And really, wasn't that the whole point in the first place? There you go, guys. Those are my 6 ways to make your New Year's resolution stick in 2021. If you have any other methods that have worked for you, I'd love to hear about them down in the comments. And if you enjoyed watching, please go down and hit the like button. It really helps me get this video in front of more people that need it. And before you go, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time. The first trick to help you keep your New Year's working on a new, do dive in and get a little, can't take a step out. 2, I don't know where I was going. Kids that If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my personal growth playlist. It's full of a whole bunch of different ways to help you grow in the new year.